was always the Jags.
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 Welcome into Always the Jags. It's your host, King Whale. This is your number one podcast for everything Jacksonville, everything Jaguars, everything Duval. Now let's talk about the defense, because the offense, if that cures, like, again, if Brian Thomas Jr. is catching the ball now, if the rest of our receivers, like, as long as it hits your hands, if you're catching it, we are a dangerous team. We are a dangerous team. Make no mistake, right? So, talking about the defense now, Trayvon Walker finally looks like he's coming into his own. And I think that's largely because Eric Armstead is playing where he's supposed to, inside, and he's getting push, right? He's not jumping off the stats, right? But that's supposed to be a three-headed monster, and I loved the fact that we signed him instead of getting like when we had originally signed Eric Armstead. I thought it was a great signing, and I thought it was a better move than re-signing Calvin Ridley. And like, we used that money that we were going to use for Calvin Ridley to go get Eric Armstead. It was great. However, obviously he didn't make much of an impact. Like, Calais Campbell made more of an impact for the Dolphins than Eric Armstead made for us. But now he's playing inside like he was supposed to. Like, I don't understand Ryan Nielsen or how bad he necessarily was, but like, I'm just glad that's over. That's all I gotta say. So now we've got Eric Armstead playing where he should be, inside, and even him and Mason Smith were doing some nice things, getting push. Again, the more that you can compress that pocket and make the quarterback uncomfortable, the better it is for Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, because they are setting the edge and they are feasting, ready to get in that quarterback's face and make him uncomfortable. And Josh Allen had the game sealing play when CJ Stroud was going to throw, and Josh Allen got his hand on the ball, and it got intercepted by Antonio Johnson. And another thing, like, if we have any success this year, the way that we transformed our defense in just one offseason, and all we did was essentially we added three players: Travis Hunter, Jordan Lewis, and Eric Murray. And we added new coaching. And so that shows you how important coaching is. And I guess in a secondary that typically has like five players, when you swap out half of them, in theory, it should get better. But these weren't like world-beating players, right? These are just smart, tough veterans, right, that we swapped in. But they're working with the scheme. Anthony Campanile, either they are able to adjust to his scheme or he's making his scheme adjust to them, because we've got a hard-hitting defense, and it's great. I wish we had hit a little bit harder in the game against the Bengals. That would have been nice. But again, I could argue that, again, our secondary, our defense made the game-sealing play on the Bengals, and it just got called on a ridiculous penalty. So really, we did win that game. Like, let's not forget. Yeah, I'm gonna remember that, because some guy was in my comments saying like, "Oh, the Jaguars lost to a backup quarterback." Yeah, okay, that wasn't pass interference. So we didn't lose to a backup quarterback. We lost on a ridiculous pass interference call. So let's make that clear. So anyway, Travis Hunter is a great cornerback. He gave up, I think, about 50 yards last season, which, you know, we'd like to. He'll get more lockdown as the season goes down, but he didn't give up any big plays. He was a sure-handed tackler. And I think I was always someone that was like, I want to start him on defense and work him into offense, right? Because if he's a starter on defense, have him know all the defensive plays, and then we can work some packages for him on offense. Not packages where he necessarily gets the ball, but just pick 10 plays that Liam Cohen really likes and let Travis Hunter play a role in those plays. And that way he only needs to know 10. He needs to hold defense and maybe 10 offensive plays to begin the season. Right? Because there were a couple of times he wasn't getting lined up and we were getting a lot of penalties for that. So he only needs a few plays on offense to like get lined up. And then we can slowly add more, right? So you got 10 plays on offense, okay, in a week or two we'll make it 15. Until eventually you get to the point where maybe he is full-time in both, because he knows both the offense and the defense. But I always thought that first of all, I thought we needed him more on defense, and I thought he would be better on defense, because I feel like it's harder to pick up a defense than it is to pick up an offense. Because in some ways, like on some plays, no matter what's going on, he could just tell Travis Hunter, like, hey, go in the game and just get open and just run, like backyard football. But on defense, you got to understand coverages. You got to understand zone. And you got to understand when you have help and when you don't. Because those bust downs are what lead to touchdowns. So I always thought that he was going to be, and like a lot of people are talking, like, again, this is the world that we live in. We want to see instant gratification, instant results. Why doesn't Travis Hunter have 500 yards and 6 touchdowns on the year already? This is game 3. I thought he was like a world breaking superstar. Relax. Relax. If Travis Hunter comes out of this season as the best cornerback in this draft, we're fine, right? The trade is still fine. If we make the playoffs, I think the trade is fine, whether he's the best cornerback in the draft or not. But even if we don't make the playoffs, if we come out of the season and he's the best cornerback of this draft, if people look at the draft, and I think the next closest person was Will Johnson, and so far I think Travis Hunter's been playing a little bit better than he has. He had a good preseason, but he hasn't been playing as well as Travis Hunter has. If Travis Hunter comes out as the best cornerback from this draft, we're fine. Relax. Okay? The trade was worth it, right? And those wide receiver skills will come. Now, it's a little bit more pressing right now because apparently our receivers forgot how to catch, but Travis Hunter is coming. It's just I would love to see some explosion too. And again, we know he's got the ability with that 2nd and 20 that he converted. Ooh, what a great play. So he's already making plays. And if you ask me, again, he did make the game-saving play last week. And if he did that, he would be in the defensive defensive rookie of the year category, right? And he almost had a touchdown his first game of the season. But, all of that hoopla, and I think it's going to end up making Travis Hunter better. But, all the hoopla surrounding him, all the talk, all the attention, it makes teams want to go after him. It makes people want to queue up and like they play harder against him. Like, they put JC Horn on him, stuff like that. So I think it'll get there. Just be patient. But as long as he's the best cornerback in this draft, which I think he is, we have no reason to feel like we regretted that trade. Because with the way Jerrion Jones was playing, the way Tyson Campbell plays, again, I want Travis Hunter to take that number 1 cornerback spot, right? And we need him. Like, we need him. And if he's the best cornerback in the draft, then it was worth it, right? Because otherwise, there's a lot of games that we would have lost a lot more games. Sometimes that cornerback spot is very, very important. So, and again, our free agent acquisitions, Eric Murray I thought he was the weak link on the Texans and he wouldn't be that good for us. He's been fantastic. Between his interception, between that hit stick tackle in week 1, he's just been good in coverage. Andrew Wingard, he's also been good in coverage and been making short tackles. Devin Lloyd, we might have to have a serious conversation about franchise tagging him after this year because the only thing we're lacking is a coverage linebacker. And Devin Lloyd has been great in coverage this year. And all of it goes back to the pressure that we can get with that D-line. I think it's making everybody better. And again, we didn't change the personnel. Like, we added Dewan Smoot, which I think was huge because I think he just brings energy to other players and he brings energy to Jacksonville fans when they're at home. But we just moved Eric Armstead back inside where he should have been playing the whole time. We always had the personnel to make this happen, to get this kind of a defense. And it's just, I don't know where Ryan Nielsen is right now, but just, wow, did you screw us over last year? That's all I got to say. But yeah, Mason Smith doing some things. And Anthony Campanile has a very our defense looks energetic, and they do look like they're having fun. I heard someone mention it before. The way that Campanile switches up coverages and switches up looks, it looks like they're having fun trying to confuse people. And last year, our defense looked very, very tired all the time. Our defense is bursting with energy right now. And we didn't expect to be like, we all thought the defense would be the thing that was holding us back this year, that we still need some time to work on. So all our offense has to do is get competent, right? And our defense has been lifting us. And the thing is like, the things that are plaguing our offense are fixable because our offensive line is so good right now. This might be the best offensive line I've seen because I'm very young, right? And I've seen a lot of bad Jaguars offensive lines. But Robert Hainsey is playing out of his mind. He's a fantastic center. Anton Harrison is playing better than he was his rookie season. He finally looks like he's finally figured it out. Walker Little, there's been a little bit of a drop off from him, but even his drop off is better than most starting tackles in the league. And then Ezra Cleveland looks like a new man. And then Patrick McCarry. Patrick McCarry's probably struggling the most out of everybody. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure he's being paid the most. And even if Patrick McCarry's struggles get worse before they get better, we've got Jonah Monheim and Wyatt Malum who are developing in the back behind it. So I feel great about our offensive line right now and in the future. And that's not something Jaguars fans have been able to say for a very long time. Especially because with how good Hainsey is playing, we might replace. I don't know if we replace Cleveland after this year. I don't think if he keeps playing the way he is, I don't think we would replace him. But we might replace Ricari with Malum or Monheim. Like you have two options, right? So, the fact that because really it starts with the offensive line. If your offensive line is good, you can start inflicting your will. Our running game is great. It's blasting holes open, right? And all we have to do is just catch the ball. If we catch the ball, this Texans game isn't really close. And it's something so easy to fix. And so I said at the first game of the season, Brenton Strange, like the offense should flow through Brenton Strange and what he does as a blocker and a receiver. And I argued he was the most important player. And it seems like we kind of forgot that in week 2. And it looks like Liam Cohen remembered that in week 3. And so I think until further notice, like again, we're not benching guys, but like Liam Cohen, I would put your scheme to make sure Brenton Strange is the focal point. Because the thing with Brenton Strange is he's not incredibly big and he's not incredibly fast. So like Evan Ingram was a mismatch because he was bigger than most cornerbacks, but he was faster than most linebackers. Brenton Strange isn't very big, and he's also not that fast. Like he's about the same size as Evan Ingram, but that means because he's not that, so like a cornerback can't really cover him, but he's not going to outrun most linebackers. They can kind of hang tight with him because he's not that fast, not as fast as Evan Ingram. But he can block anybody from 350-pound defensive tackles or defensive edges to linebackers, and then a cornerback or a safety, he's just going to blow him off the mark. And he's fast enough to get out there and blow holes open, right? He's just not got like breakaway speed. And so because of that, he ends up catching a lot of tight window throws. But because he has short hands, it's okay. Like he's not really the guy to go up on top of somebody and get it, but he is the guy where Trevor zips a pass in at like super fast, in a tight window, he's going to come up with it because he's just so short-handed. And so it creates a lot of risky throws throwing in his direction. He's not going to be as wide open, but he'll catch it. If you put it in a place where the defender can't get it, he will catch it. So I think the offense needs to go through him more. And I think we'll kind of talk about that as we go on to the 49ers. And just what we could potentially take advantage of in that game. So let me know what you think. If the Jaguars have a chance of beating the 49ers, what do you think about the Jaguars win over the Texans and everything going forward? And never forget, it was always the Jags.